Hi drummers, hope you're well. Right, quick one for you about hi-hat opening and closing and just getting started with it. And this comes in, for most people, if they're doing Trinity rock and pop, this comes in on the song Miss You by the Rolling Stones, which has two different open and closed hi-hat sections. And this is when people start saying, I can't do it, I'm just struggling with this. But so as ever, what you've got to do is you've got to start at the beginning with this. This is often the approach that we'll take in the lessons that I teach here with my channel members and students about getting this going. Now the first thing is, if you're not hugely used to opening and closing the hi-hat, just to get a feel for that. Going back to the sort of theme I end up talking about a lot, which is not trying to start at the end, just start at the beginning with stuff, get to know it, get a feel for it, enjoy the process of getting into it. We're just going to play, first of all, on the hi-hat, we're going to play some straight eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're just going to get a feel, we're going to get comfortable opening and closing the hi-hat like this. So eighth notes on the hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what we're going to do is we're going to lift up as we strike the hi-hat on the ands, and we're going to go down as we play the numbers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. That really is the first step, and you can really, in my opinion, from my experience, you can really spend a lot of time just doing that. Put on music that you like, especially nice slow groovy music, and just do that. Don't worry about the bass and the snare and all the coordination at first. Get a feel for it. That's so important. I think just get it flowing, get it happening. Now, as you can see on the acoustic hi-hat, you don't really need to make a very big movement. If you set your hi-hats up so they're moderately far apart, you don't need to make a huge movement. Some people ask about heel up versus heel down. It is possible to do this both ways. So heel down is what I just did. Heel up would be more like. They both work. They're both totally cool. I use heel up on the hi-hat quite a lot for certain things, especially when I'm playing like a line of eighth notes on the hi-hat. But for something like this, I pretty much always play heel down, and the reason for that is I always feel like if you're doing this open and close thing with a heel up technique, your hi-hat just becomes like a switch, doesn't it? It's either totally open or just completely shut. There's nothing in between. And what I really like is that lovely sizzle sound, I think like a lot of drummers do, where you just open up the hi-hat a little bit of the way, and then obviously if you're heel down, I just feel like you've got so much more close control. I remember my first ever drum teacher, Roger Odell from Shoutout, talking about how you can get a great open hi-hat sound just by sort of lifting up your big toe, just lifting up the very, very front bit of your foot. So first stage, can't repeat it enough, just get a feel for that. Put on some music that you love, nice and slow, and just even if that doesn't feature in the song, just play it anyway. 1 and 2 and 3. Just to be clear, you're closing the hi-hat, pushing the pedal down as you hit it on the numbers, and you're lifting your foot up as you're hitting it at the same time as you hit it with the stick, as you open it. So you close it as you hit it, and you open it as you hit it. This is the sound we're looking for. One last time. 1. Now in Miss You, it goes like this. Then so in the first instance anyway, you've got that thing where you've got 3 bars of 4 on the floor, and in the 4th bar, you've got open and close. Now for a drummer, it's all right if you've been playing drums for a while, but for a drummer typically hitting grade 2, that's quite a lot of coordination going on. So I would really suggest, and what we tend to do again, is build that up in stages. A perfect little drill to do might be doing 1 bar where you play closed hi-hat, and 1 bar where you play the open and close. And by all means do that just hi-hat on its own at first, 1 step at a time. Don't try and start at the end, don't try and start further down the line than this, just hi-hat on its own. So 1 bar closed, 1 bar open and close, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can even go way slower than that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, even slower like that. So a little 2-bar loop like that can be absolutely perfect because you can just get a feel for it. I can't say this enough times. How many people just try and play this with the music straight away, or they try and do everything at once? Build it bit by bit, just chip away at it, just build this, enjoy that process of building it up. That's something I'm such a big fan of. Now here, we'll now add in the bass drum to the same drill. Again, 1 bar with a closed hi-hat, 1 bar open close. So this is like on the first line of that chorus, this is like the 3rd and the 4th bars along, looping those over and over and over just to get a feel for it. Here it comes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 4. So still no snare drum at this point. 1, 2, 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 4. Repeat then. As much as you like, repeat. It might take a few weeks, it might take a few months, it might take, who knows how long it will take. Repeat, take your time, enjoy the process. Usual story, release expectation from the result happening in any particular time frame, and you can just enjoy yourself building it up. And then as and when you're feeling ready, that snare drum can start to drop. Again, I think a great drill is 1 bar closed, 1 bar open close on the hi-hat like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, here we go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Now remember, you can always talk yourself through it. Just to be super clear, I find myself doing this all the time with stuff. I think people think this shouldn't have to happen, or this is wrong, or like some kind of illegal move. Talk yourself through it. Show your brain, your hands and your feet, the combinations. So I'll do that now. I'll just go with the open and closed bar here. So we're going to go closed hi-hat and bass drum, open hi-hat on its own, closed hi-hat, bass drum and snare, open hi-hat on its own. That's the first half of the bar. Second half is the same. Beat 3, closed hi-hat, bass, open hi-hat on its own, closed hi-hat, snare and bass, open hi-hat on its own. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even play along to whole songs with just that. And then eventually when you're ready, of course, you can start putting it into the tune. Again, take your time, no particular time frame in which this should happen. But then we're looking for, in that chorus anyway, 3 bars of closed hi-hat and then 1 bar open close. So that would make a nice little drill, those 4 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and open close, here we go. Here we go. And bit by bit, we'll piece it together like that. That's the chorus part. There is also a bit in the bridge where the bass drum doesn't play 4 on the 4, it plays 1 and 3. Perhaps I'll do a different video about that at a different time. But that really is it. Little bit by little bit. Hi-hat on its own at first, just get to know that. When you're ready, do a little back and forth drill, 1 bar closed, 1 bar open and closed. Add in the bass drum at some point, add in the snare drum, and always a good thing to go back to is talking yourself through one event at a time. Give your hands, your feet and your brain a chance to see everything that's happening. Take it in, let it sink in. Do not try and start with the end, just bit by bit, and build it up from there. That's some of the ways that we go about starting to build that up. Doesn't need to be a big movement. I personally like heel down on the hi-hat. So I hope that's useful. Any questions about that or anything else, give us a shout. Thanks for watching as always. Shout out to Ross and all the channel members, in fact, and drum students who are working on Miss You, and that typically in rock and pop anyway is the first time we start opening and closing the hi-hat in anger. Don't worry, you're not struggling, there's nothing wrong with you, it just takes time to build up. Start at the beginning, play the hi-hat on its own, get a feel for it. That movement is new. If that movement is new, it'll be something tricky, unusual. Just take your time, as ever. Enjoy the process of building it up. Thanks for watching as always. Please like, share and subscribe. Shout out to all the amazing channel members for supporting this channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and all the people who bought me a coffee as well. I'll do a shout out video soon. Thanks a million. Really appreciate that. Any questions, give us a shout. See you soon. Cheers.